a tiny little gated community. And every time I'd leave the gate and right when I'd get to the stop sign and I go to turn onto the street, there'd be a car, okay, that you would be driving by, and it happened to be at the exact same time, right as I pull up to the stop sign, that the car would be coming at the exact same timing, enough, so perfect, enough that it would force me to stop. That I would actually have to sit there and wait because I couldn't pull out. And so what would happen is I have to sit there and wait till the car drive by, and then I could pull out. And then after that car drove by, there wouldn't be a single car on the street. My street is actually a perfect example to show you this, and to show you how it is statistically impossible, is that I live on a completely straight, it's like straight as an arrow, this street, and it goes for miles, okay? So it's a perfect street to actually show you that there will be no cars on the street. And remember, like I said, is that where I live is that it's like a little offshoot, a side street where it's not busy, okay? Even during the busiest times of the day, like when people get off work around 4, 5, 6, okay? And then early in the morning, it's still not that busy of a street because it's it's a side street, okay? And it's a long, straight street, and it's far away from the city, okay? It's like on the outskirts of town. And so this street is actually a perfect example to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And the funniest thing is I actually have proof of it on camera. I caught it on camera. And the funniest part about it is that all I really wanted to do was to make a video to actually show you my street, so you could see an example of actually how straight the street is, so you could know what I'm talking about. And when I went to actually do it, to actually show you example, and I wasn't even trying to have a car pull up at the same time. I just wanted to literally make a video to show you my long street. And as I pulled out and I looked down the street, there's a car that just happened to, again, just pull up right at the same time. Right when I get to the stop sign, a car pulls up at the exact same time. And I actually got it on camera. And again, it wasn't a surprise to me because that happens to me all the time. I mean, it happens so often, again, to the point where I almost got to the point where I just knew, right, if I left at 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 10, 1 in the afternoon, or 9 at night, 10 at night, 11 at night, that no matter what time, no matter how many cars would be on the road, if I pulled out, it was almost guaranteed that there would be a car at the exact same moment, and I would have to stop and sit there and wait. And then after it drove by, there would be not a single car on the road. And so it would just come by at the exact same time. And I know, again, most people, you're just paying attention to it. Well, you're not. And again, this street, it's actually a statistical proof that this is happening. So however you want to say, whether you want to say people are doing it, or it's aliens, or whatever, or Satan, or there's like some underlying force in nature that's causing it, is that it doesn't really matter what it is. The fact is that it's statistically impossible. And this street actually proves it. Again, this is a super long street, and it goes straight on end. And there'll be no cars on this road. There'll be maybe like 1 or 2 cars coming down this long road, and as I get there, that one, like the lone car on the road, will just happen to be at the exact same time right when I get to the stop sign, and I would actually have to stop and wait. And then again, there would be no cars on the road. After I turn onto it, there wouldn't be one car that even drives down the street the whole entire time. So imagine that, even if there was one lone car on the road, that it's such a long straight street, the odds that one lone car would just happen to be right at the exact same moment, right as I'm about to pull out onto the street, is extremely odd. And it really, at the end of the day, it's statistically impossible to occur as many times as it is happening, for there not to be some underlying issue that's causing that to happen. And again, I got to a point, even before all this stuff happened, where I lost my job and all this, like I was saying with the cars coming at the same time, is that I actually stopped and I timed it to see how many cars would pass within a certain amount of time. And then I also calculated the distance that a car would need to be, how many seconds a car would need to be within from where I pull out to where they are, to where I would actually have to stop because I couldn't pull out in front of them. And so for a car to be at the specific time where I couldn't pull out and I'd actually have to stop and wait, they'd have to be within a time frame of roughly about 4 seconds. Okay, that would mean that if they were about 4 seconds in distance from where I was, that would be in the time frame where it would be too quick for me to pull out, so I'd have to sit and wait. Okay, so they have so down this whole long strip, that car would have to be within 4 seconds, okay, of the time it's driving, to be at the exact moment to actually force me to stop. Because think about it, it could be coming down the street, but it might be 10 seconds away. Okay, enough time where I could just pull in front of it. Or it could be, it could just be passing me, and then I would be able to pull out in front of it. But it doesn't do that. It happens to be within a specific time range where I'm literally forced to stop. And again, at that time range where I'm actually forced to stop, it has to be within a 4-second time span for me to actually have to force me to stop. So the odds that there'd be one lone car on this long street, and then it would be within that time span of 4 seconds to force me to stop. And now to most people, you think you're just paying attention, or to everyone else, again, it's not a big deal, because the reason is because it's not happening to you. It's not happening to you, because if it did, you would notice it. And the thing is that what's happening is that it happens so many times at a certain point in time, I'm just like, okay, something's seriously off here. There's no way that no matter what time I leave, even when the road's empty, that there'll just happen to be one random lone car on the street, and then it just happens to be right where I'm at the exact same time. And it happens so often at a point I go, what's going on here? Something is seriously off here. And now again, it's just like the roulette table, is that it doesn't matter even if you are paying attention. Let's say you're looking for it. Let's say I'm planning. Let's say I go, I'm going to go test it right now. Okay, and I drive out there. I'm planning for it. I am paying attention, and I'm looking to see for that car there. Well, if it's really happening, if it's still occurring, it doesn't matter if you're looking for it or paying attention or not. It's still happening, and that means it's still defying the odds of statistics. Okay, right? It doesn't matter if I'm paying attention or not. If I pull out of my gate and there's only one car in the whole entire road, and it still happens to be right in front of me, okay, let's say 8 out of 10 times I pull out of my gate and that happens and there's only one car on the street, okay, it doesn't matter if I pay attention or not. Regardless of that, if it's still occurring, that means that it's still happening, and that there's a statistical anomaly that's occurring there, okay? That's impossible. And again, it's like the same thing with roulette, is that would be like saying if you play one number and you play like 30 hands, okay, a day for like 30 days straight, and then let's say that 25 out of 30 times you hit the right number for 30 days straight over and over again, okay, it doesn't matter if you're paying attention or not. You go, I can't believe it. I've 25 out of 30 times I get the right number. I can't believe it. And they go, well, you're just focusing on that you're getting the right number. You're just paying attention, so that's why you're recognizing it. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're paying attention or not. It's defying statistical odds. So that the reasoning that you're paying attention makes absolutely no sense. And if for someone who thinks that they're smart, or a doctor, that should make sense to you, is that for them to say you're just paying attention, again, doesn't matter regardless of that reason if you were paying attention or not. At the end of the day, is that if it's still occurring, it doesn't matter, and it's defying statistical odds. It can't just keep happening over and over and over without there being an underlying cause to something that's causing that to happen. And then so again, I'll show you the video of where I actually pulled out of my gate, and like I said, watch this video. I'll show you right now. And the thing is that in the video, all I really wanted to do was just to show you this street, to show you how straight and long it was, so I could show you guys that it really would be an odd occurrence, because you could see the car coming from miles away. So it would be a super odd occurrence to see that car would have to be within that 4-second time span to actually force me to stop. That's all I really wanted to show on the video. But the funniest thing is, it so happened that when I did pull out, and you'll see in the video, is that there happened to be a car that just whoop right at the same time as me, and it was 3 cars in a row. I pulled up, and as soon as I turned, there was 3 cars that went boop, boop, boop right at the same time. And then you'll see again, just like I had been saying, right after these cars drove by and they forced me to stop, you'll see that I look down both sides of this long straight road, and there's not one car. It's just completely dead, completely empty. Quite a bit of seconds goes by again, almost maybe like up to like a minute, where there's not even a car on the road again, okay, after this happened, and it's just completely dead. Just like I said, just like the drive-thrus. The same thing happens with the drive-thru. It'll come at just the exact same timing, and then there's no cars in the drive-thru, no cars on the road. Every single time, I pull out of this gate, and again, I'm going to show you that it's not that busy of a road, and right now it's 5:36 p.m. So that's about time when people are getting off work and should be coming home, right? And this is just to show you, this is not a busy street. Okay, it's a side street, but what's good about it to know is that it's a super long, straight street that goes miles on, and right when I pull up, there's always a car. Oh, there's 3. Again, there's another. And if you look and you'll notice, is that there's one more on the other side, drove by, is that, look it down the road. There's no more cars all the way down there, look. And there's no cars coming. It's empty. Did you just see it? This is one where I actually got on camera. And look down the road. They're all going the opposite way. Look, when I'm stopped here, there's no one on the road. It's completely dead. And this is how it is. Majority of the time, the road looks like this. Okay, guys, majority of the time the road is empty. So think about it. The odds that... And again, so that will happen every time I pull out. A lone car or just like a small group of cars will pass through, and then all of a sudden there's no cars on the road again. And still, the time that I went, it was a busier time of day. So you might say, well, look, there's kind of there's a few amount of cars on the road. But again, this is the busiest time. This is like the busiest time of the day for this street. And there still really isn't that many cars on the road. It's still dead. So the chances that there still would be a car there is still defies statistical odds either way. And again, like I'm saying, is that it typically happens when I leave early, in the morning, or like midday when no one's driving around, or late at night where there's no cars on the road, and there'll only be one car that happens to be right at that moment, and then there's no cars on the road. I mean, it's unreal. It really is. And again, the whole point about it is that it only becomes significant to that person because everyone else around you, it's one of those things that they're not going to notice or even care. And most likely it's because it's just not happening to them. Okay? If it would, they would notice. And the thing is that when this happens all over, as soon as you leave your neighborhood, there's a car. As soon as you go through the drive-thru, there's a car. As soon as you go to an empty shopping center and there's no cars in the lot except for maybe 2 or 3. And as you pull into the grocery store, they're both pulling in right next to you at the same exact timing. Is that when that happens to you all day consistently long, it just gets so annoying. I mean, it really does. It's not like I'm even paying attention for or looking for it. It just gets tiring. It's honestly so freaking annoying. I mean, I honestly can't even tell you how annoying it is. It's just super annoying. It goes to the point where I'm like, here, I drive out in my neighborhood. I know that when I pull up, there's going to be a car there. And there will be every time. That's how bad it was. And so it's like, I don't even care. I'm not even looking for it. I'm just annoyed and pissed off at this point. Like, really? Like, there's going to be a car that pulls into the drive-thru. There's going to be a car that, right at the same time as I leave my neighborhood. I mean, honestly. So same thing with the shopping centers. Not only will cars pull in the same time as that, I'm not even kidding that. I pull into a shopping center, and these could be random shopping centers where they're like really empty and there's no cars in it. And this has happened on so many occasions, I've honestly lost count. That where, let's say there's maybe 5 cars in this whole entire big shopping center. And as I'm pulling in to the shopping center, there'll be like a car. Okay, there'll be a car that like pulls in front of me. Okay, that's slowly parking, and I'll have to stop and wait. So this car's blocking me. And then there'll be a car from the side that's sitting there waiting. And then a car that pulls in behind me and sitting there waiting. So there's like, I'm just stuck in the middle and I'm just like sitting there. And there's like no cars in the whole entire parking lot at all. And I'm just sitting here stuck in the middle like this. And there's a car here, here, here behind me. And I'm just like sitting there. And they're all like going slow parking or backing up and turning. And I'm just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, as I drive away, there's not one car in the parking lot again. I mean, I'm not even kidding. That's literally what I've actually been trapped. I just sit there like this. Like, what is going on here is like, you know what I'm saying?